Be real with me. How many Klarna, Affirm, or PayPal payment plans have you set up? In fact, how many of them are you currently paying on? Buy now, pay later sounds great in theory, but if we pull back the curtains, all that glitters isn't gold. $30 payments every 2 weeks sounds affordable, but when you have 5 to 10 of them, these buy now, pay later plans can wreak havoc on your budget. What's worse is while you may start with $30 payments, it's only a matter of time before you dabble in the 60, 150, or $200 payment options. It can be addictive. It can also force you to keep taking these payment plans out because you have no choice but to rely on them for purchases. I want you to avoid that financially detrimental trap. So, I'm sharing 5 reasons to avoid buy now, pay later plans so you can take back control of your budget. The first way or reason to avoid buy now, pay later is because it encourages overspending. One of the most vital reasons to avoid buy now, pay later is the fact that it encourages you to spend. Not only does your brain see this upfront payment plan cost as the only amount needed to spend, but it rationalizes making payments for something that should be paid in full or not paid for at all. Buy now, pay later makes expensive purchases seem affordable. You're not focused on the full amount of the item. You're only focused on the amount needed to pay for it in the moment. Combine that with the easy approval process, and it's way too easy to impulsively buy something. In fact, it's way too easy to justify making the purchase, even if you aren't impulsively buying it. Do not fall into the thought process of, it's just $30 every 2 weeks. I can make that work. Do it once, and I'm telling you, it's much easier to keep going. The next reason to avoid buy now, pay later is because it creates a never ending debt cycle. Once you see how easy it is to leverage buy now, pay later to purchase things you wouldn't be able to afford if you paid in full, the dangerous cycle begins. You constantly justify your buy now, pay later purchase, and then you start doing these types of plans for other purchases. One, because it's so easy, and two, because you don't have as much money in your accounts anymore. These small payments add up quickly, which makes it harder to get ahead. Then it forces you into needing these types of payment plans to afford things you actually need. This is what will keep you in a never ending cycle of debt. Only it doesn't feel like debt because you may not have the same stipulations as a typical credit card has. But buy now, pay later also gives consumers the option of rolling over payments into new purchases. That means you're never really paying anything off. You're just rolling it into the next payment plan. This puts you at risk of always having, or worse, always needing buy now, pay later obligations. And that will make it significantly harder for you to become financially free. The next reason to avoid buy now, pay later is because it messes with your budget. I have worked with a handful of women who have gotten stuck in the buy now, pay later cycle when they actually list out all of their Klarna, Affirm, and Afterpay accounts. They are shocked to see just how much money they spend every month on those plans. Buy now, pay later messes with your budget in ways much worse than credit card debt. Sometimes these payment plans require bi weekly payments, which add up over the course of the month, essentially throwing your monthly budget off. Not only that, you must be diligent with tracking all of your buy now, pay later payments. Depending on how many you have, it may be hard for you to keep tabs on everything. Between pay schedules changing and frequencies changing, forgetting one payment could mess up your entire budget. If your bank charges fees for overdrafting, your buy now, pay later could be costing you more than the payment plan amount. Forgetting a payment could result in you not having enough in your bank account to cover the cost, and now you're hit with fees and penalties. If you budget your money down to the wire, this type of scenario could result in a lot of financial stress and extra money going out. The next reason to avoid buy now, pay later is because it can impact your credit score. Did you know that? Did you know that some buy now, pay later services report late or missed payments to the credit bureaus? That means you could have negative impacts to your credit score when taking on these kinds of plans. You may not be charged interest, but these types of plans seem to function just like most other debts. And in addition to being reported late, Any buy now, pay later account that's reflected in your credit could result in a higher credit utilization ratio. This could be a red flag for future lenders, both current or future, when you're trying to open or manage current credit accounts. And since some of these buy now, pay later plans function as forms of credit, you have the potential to see a lower credit score if you do pay late or overuse these plans. Now, the final reason to avoid buy now, pay later is because it's a temporary fix, not a long term solution. Let's be real with each other. Buy now, pay later options are tempting because they allow you to make purchases in the present, which promotes instant gratification that you really can't afford. And while you may get that dopamine hit when you make the purchase, it exacerbates underlying financial issues. If you struggle with impulse spending or the desire to accumulate things, buy now, pay later makes it easier for you to continue this bad behavior. Relying on payment plans instead of saving for your purchases is a temporary fix for a long term problem. It keeps you stuck in the cycle of always needing a payment plan because your income is already allocated to other payment plans. It also encourages a mindset of buy now, worry later, which is really dangerous when you're trying to make financial progress. So, after hearing those reasons to avoid buy now, pay later plans, I think it's safe to say these plans are more of a financial trap than a financial convenience. And I'm not saying they can't be managed, right? But it's a slippery slope. If you're stuck in the cycle of paying them off currently, just stay the course. Do not add any more to your plate. Do your best to pay them off as quickly as possible and learn to rely on your budget for purchases, even if that means saving money for a few pay periods before actually making the purchase.